Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Virtus Pro versus Alliance in the Epic League. This should be a pretty exciting match to watch. Alliance, they've beaten Virtus Pro in their previous 6 matches across all tournaments. So it's quite a loss streak so far on the side of Virtus Pro. But obviously, this hasn't been the same Virtus Pro for that entire, little feud that's going on. This is a relatively new roster, so we'll see if they're able to break this this little curse that the VP seems to have on them. This is the team name. But either way, I think Alliance, they're going to have to be fighting real damn hard this game to try and actually keep themselves in the Division 1 of this tournament. So far, they are second from bottom. They are the ones that are going to be relegated alongside Mud Golems if they lose this game. If they win this game, it should actually bump them up to 8th place, just in front of Just Error, to keep them in it for now. But obviously, it all then depends on whether Just Error, because Just Error got one more game tomorrow. So if Just Error win that one as well, then obviously they'd be pushed back up towards 8th place instead and put Alliance down. Unless, of course, Alliance win this game 2-0, and if Just Error win their one and they win it 2-1, Alliance will still win because Alliance and Just Error have exactly the same scores so far in this tournament. So we'll see if they're able to do that and keep themselves in this one, or if they're going to get punched out here and now. We'll have to wait and see. But VP, they got the first pick and they lead up straight away with that Faceless Void, going to put that directly into Epileptic Kid's hands. The hero, he does enjoy playing, and it's always been brutally effective. No matter what team it actually ends up running it, it's just a hero which provides such great team fight, whilst also being able to farm a relatively decent speed, especially when you get that Battle Fury and you can just jump around from all the creep camps with your Time Walk. Very nice hero. Alliance were spawned by picking up the Io as their first hero. Pretty vanilla hero. Io, I don't think there's ever been a meta where Io isn't relevant. I mean, it used to be exclusively a gyro pairing. If you ever saw an Io, you're pretty much guaranteed to see a gyro come out as a second pickup for whichever team does grab it. But gyro has definitely dropped off as of late. The last few patches, really, you don't really see him too often. I mean, the most I've actually seen him lately is when OG run him in Thompson Sand for the mid lane. Virtus Pro was going to snap up the Slardar, another very high-profile hero that a lot of teams have been prioritising. So VP have snagged themselves 2 very decent heroes for the very start of this game. It is 2 cores though, so there is going to be that potential for Alliance to sort of see where VP's plan is heading, and they can maybe try and do a little altercations to their own playstyle and maybe, try and bring this back into their favour, perhaps. But even still, it's definitely a scary thing to be going up against. Just the Slardar really increasing the amount of effective damage that this Faceless Void's able to do with the Corrosive Haze. Now, whoever does get stuck in those Chronospheres, pretty much guaranteed to die, unless, of course, this IO is going to be on it and coming in with those clutch relocate saves. Well, I mean, he'll be doing that if it's the position 1 Nika Baby who gets caught in these Chronos. If it's just, I don't know, Handskin perhaps, he probably won't bother. Anyone else, he probably will. But poor old Handskin. Well, it all depends on the situation, really. But that is going to be one of the main jobs for this IO. Even though you want to always try and stay tethered up with your primary target, when you're going up against a Void, it's sort of difficult to, because otherwise you're just going to set up for easy peasy 2-man Chronos every time. And they're actually going to go for the Beastmaster as their second pickup. That's going to be for S4, and it's a perfect hero to come up against the Faceless Void. The Raw just locking him down in place for so damn long that the Faceless Void, by the time he takes all the damage during this stun, by the time the stun wears off and you Time Walk, if you even get to be able to Time Walk off, you're not going to be able to get a large portion of that damage back, HP back, because the stun duration is way too long. So we'll probably see Epileptic get caught out from that a couple of times in this game. It's basically inevitable. Seems like it also pierces BKBs. So we'll probably just see Epileptic Kid completely skip a BKB this game, I imagine. I mean, there's just not much point. You're going to pop your BKB and then you can get Beastmaster Roared in your Chrono anyway. So he may as well just try and go for damage and just try and burst people as quickly as possible before the Beastmaster can come in and roar him up. Or perhaps even get the Beastmaster himself caught in the chrono as well and try and bring him down that way. Or maybe if one of the supports on the side of VP ends up building a Lincolns and just constantly chuck the Lincolns on the Faceless Void, and that'll also provide him a little bit of survivability from the Beastmaster. But we'll have to see how this ends up panning out. But either way, despite the fact that the Beastmaster is a good matchup against the Faceless Void, it's also a hero that S4 loves to play. So he's going to be good at this hero no matter what. But there is still that potential for VP to pick up a real decent support against it. Mind you, in the first phase they banned out the Ench, and now Alliance ban out the Shen as well. So there's very few heroes now which are really a key counter to a Beastmaster in the safe lane. There is the Crystal Maiden, and you just go for the Frostbite. He easily kills the balls every time. But the CM isn't like a super solid support. It can provide a little bit of utility in these team fights, but there's a lot of other supports you would rather get which could contribute a little bit more. But we'll see if maybe VP feeling ballsy, putting that in the hands of Ilias. I'm not sure if that's a CM's a hero Ilias plays. I think it is actually. It is actually a hero that Ilias plays. We could see the CM coming out. And then maybe Alliance may have to swap around their lanes a little bit if they do get paired up against the CM. It would be quite a struggle. 10 seconds. Let's see what Alliance can grab up for their third hero now. Probably going to be their other support role, and then leaving their position 1 for the fourth pickup. Well, I say 4 role, but there is every chance that this IO is actually going to be the hand skin in the 4 itself. A lot of teams have been running that. I'm not too sure if Alliance is one of those teams that does that at all. Or if it's exclusively an FNG hero. We'll have to wait and see. But they're using quite a lot of their reserve time now. Already down to 30 seconds. So they're giving this a real good think. Okay, so the Art's going to go for the Undying. That's a comfortable hero for FNG. So this is most likely going to be a handskin IO then. And VP have gone for the CM. So we will see that nice key position 5 counter to this Beastmaster. So we'll see if maybe Alliance will try and swap their lanes around a little bit to try and avoid this matchup. But, I mean, if you're going to try and swap it around to avoid that, then that means you're going to need to try and pick a position 1 carry which can lane effectively against the Void. The Morphling can do that. Because even the Frostbite that comes out from the Crystal Maiden, it's only a root, not a stun. So the Morphling is always going to be able to get that strength morph off. Especially if he's going to be paired up with the IO as well. I think that could pan out quite nicely for the side Alliance if they are going to swap this around a little bit. Maybe VP might even try and predict it themselves and move the Faceless Void and the Crystal Maidens their own off lane. And try and counter the movements that be coming out from Alliance perhaps. We'll have to see. But they grab the Krunker anyways, their 4th pickup. That's pretty much guaranteed to be for GPK in the mid lane. So it's looking like it's the position 4 left for VP to pick up. There was a team that ran the Slardar as a position 4. I think it was Liquid. I'm not 100% sure on that though. But I mean, it's very odd that you would leave your one of your support roles as the final pickup for your team. But it's certainly the way this is looking for VP right now. And yeah, you do want someone who can do a bit more damage during these Chronospheres, because so far your other 2 cores are Slardar and Kunkka. 2 people who are obviously melee and can't really get in there to provide a little bit of damage assistance. So far it's just the CM with the Frost Field. And that's not exactly the most reliable thing in the world. So they take away the Sky Rav, definitely a hero that can abuse the massive lockdown of the Chrono. Maybe... you still want to be a position 4 though, don't you? Maybe a Lina, no, Lina's already banned. Wind Ranger, perhaps? Could possibly see the Wind Ranger and then just try and go for like a early Javelin and really abuse the lockdown. Plus, it obviously sets up for easy power shots as well. Or unless this is going to be like some weird swap round, it is going to be a Slardar support, perhaps. I doubt it, but it is possible. Alliance, in the meantime, they look like... I'm pretty sure this is going to be a Nico Baby Morphin, so they're still after their hero for Limp in the mid lane. Maybe they just sort of want a hero that can provide another team fighting ability. Because so far Alliance are just limited to a Tombstone and a Roar. They got no sort of a big AoE lockdown. Maybe they might go for something like a Death Prophet. Maybe a Queen of Pain. They don't really need to worry about tank. You've got an Undine, you've got a Beastmaster, two people who can sit quite comfortably in those front lines, make a little bit of distraction for the Morphling. So I think you definitely need someone else who can provide a little bit of extra DPS in these coming fights. But still, it looks like just waiting for that position 4 pick up for the side of VP right now. Trying to think of what else they can sort of go with to abuse this lockdown whilst being in a comfortable position 4 role. Yeah, so they did go with the Wind Ranger. It did make quite a bit of sense. As I was saying earlier, obviously good hero that can abuse the lockdown from the Chrono, plus all the damage they're going to be getting bonused from the Corrosive Haze coming out from the Slardar as well. The Rapid Fire is going to rip through anyone. So we'll see what lines could grab up for their 5th hero. I'm pretty sure it's going to be for Limp in the mid. Queen of Pain, Death Prophet, those are my 2 sort of guesses of what they're going to go for. Okay, so I'm going to go for a Bat Rider. So... okay. So this Bat Rider is going to be mainly used for picking people off. But, I mean, as I was saying, it's just going to be heavily reliant on Nico Baby to do quite a lot of the damage in these team fights. There's just no one else really on the side of Alliance that's going to be able to contribute that much. Meanwhile, on the side of Virtus Pro, you got a lot of their heroes can deal a real massive amount of damage. So this is going to be a little bit scary for the side of Alliance. All their lanes sort of have to go nicely, otherwise they might just end up getting run over. But we'll have to wait and see. But, I mean, look at these lineups. I definitely favour VP. It just feels a little bit more solid to me. But, I mean, it could all go quite nicely. I think it sort of depends if Alliance is still going to try and run this Beastmaster up against the Void in the Crystal Maiden. I mean, if they do, then the Boars are definitely going to struggle. And you could maybe, S4 might try and go for like a Whirl and Axis build. It's not exactly something you'd really want to see that often. The Boars just provide so much assistance in the early laning phase, but obviously the Crystal Maiden cancels all that out. But we'll see what Alliance's plan is. So here we are, game 1 between Virtus Pro and Alliance. We'll see who's going to be able to take this. As I was saying in the drafted phase, Alliance really need to take this series and as cleanly as possible, just to make it a little bit safer for themselves, just in case Justeria manage to perform nicely tomorrow. We'll have to see how this ends up turning out. VP is doing something which they do in every single one of their games. is they sit on this high ground. If they're Radiant, they sit here. If they're Dire, they sit here. They just sort of wait to see if anyone on the other team tries to go a little bit aggressively and move towards them. But this Hawk that came out from S4 scouts out this move perfectly, so they know exactly where everyone on the side of EP is. Well, minus Epileptic Kid, obviously, but he gets spotted by the balls down bottom. So still looks like S4 is going to run down here and try and pair up with Hanskin. So they're perfectly aware that they're going to be up against this Maiden. This is going to be constantly killing out these, killing these balls. Did I just not see the Hawk die? Do you see the Hawks when they die? If you haven't got vision on them prior? Or do they just disappear? I'm not too sure, to be honest. Oh, I apologise for the map effect as well. I forgot that I've got the winter one turned on. But hey, you know, it's Christmas time. So I'm going to roll with it. You know, well, I say it's Christmas time, but it's December, alright? This is perfectly fine time to have some snowy battlefields going on. So I'm rocking with it. I'm sure you guys can as well. So it feels like Epileptic Kid's going to have a perfectly fine time down bottom. I mean, the IO itself doesn't really provide a huge amount of harass value. So S4's going to be quite relying on these boars. But it is... Okay, he actually took the Crystal Nova first. I thought maybe he might just go straight away for that Frostbite and just start denying these boars as soon as possible. But he goes for the Frostbite instead, level 1. Just wants to try and throw out a little bit of harassment through right clicks, perhaps. Epileptic Kid tried to get a finish on the ball there, but he couldn't quite close the distance. So it will manage to survive. Gets his full duration off. Oh, no, never mind. Ilias, he wanted that bit of 30 gold. He's used all of his mana though for it. He's going to have to start popping them clarities. In the mid lane, GPK's 6-1 to the 3-1 so far, but there is still a few creeps for Limp to farm up. So I think this is actually going to be perfectly even for the first couple of waves. Maybe we'll start to see that disparity increase a little bit as Limp starts getting a few more points into sticky Napalm. Makes it a little bit more difficult for GPK. I mean, it is always annoying being a melee hero going up against the Batrider. Just the turn rate is real brutal to play against. But obviously, GPK got that stick charges, so at least it's going to be able to benefit somewhat from the spams coming out from GPK. Limp, sorry, not GPK. But up top, Nika Baby, he's having a fine time up here as well. Second so far on that CS chart. There's not too much that Saving DM can do at the moment to really harass him out. It might get a little bit scary once both of these VP heroes hit their level 3 mark. And then you're going to have that triple stun set up. Maybe be able to burst down the Morphling. Obviously, it's a very low HP threshold style of hero for the early levels. If you actually get that Shackle onto FNG with the follow-up crush coming out from DM, just throwing a bit of right clicks, the bash does come out. But obviously it's not going to be enough at the moment to get a kill onto this Undying. Just trying to harass him out, use up some more of his consumables. Right, so Ilias actually took the Arcane Aura as his second level. Obviously you want to start getting that mana regen up and running for the rest of your team. Just try and give a little bit more efficiency for them. So we'll see if maybe he is going to go for the Frostbite as level 3. It just all makes sense. I mean, otherwise there's not really that much point picking a Crystal Maiden going up against the Beastmaster if you're not going to really abuse this skill that just counters the Beastmaster quite heavily. Level 3, okay, so he does take it now, but he's getting gone on by S4 with the overcharge coming out from Hanskin. He just did get pretty low, but not enough to actually bring him down. And everyone's just trading right clicks at the moment. So still pretty even in the mid. And Limp's actually going to try and make a go for it here. GPK goes to an immediate TP out. Ooh, he just barely makes it. Only just survives that heavy amount of damage that's coming out from the Batrider, but he's forced to TP all the way back to base without getting his X mark off, so he's going to have to walk all the way back to the lane. This is going to give plenty of time for Limp to get an advantage in the lane already. And this is guaranteed a minute 4 rune. Happens to be a regen as well. Absolutely perfect for him. Gonna be able to spam those napalms even more. Save speed and nuisance, making sure FG can't get any of those pulls off. It's always making sure that the wave is really close to the Radiant side, which makes it quite nice for DM. Easy ability for him to farm up there, whilst also still making it a little bit scary for Nika Baby as well. Oh, down bomb though. Ilias ends up getting the first blood onto S4. It looks like Alliance tried manning up against them both. Hanskin, he might be able to take Ilias with him there with the ball help that was coming out from S4. They just managed to get the kill onto him before the IO drops. So at least he gets that experience. Oh, so someone pinged out the fact that... Oh yeah, whoopsie daisy. Ilias actually had a Fairy Fire just sat in his inventory and he forgot to pop it. That definitely would have kept him alive there. Mistakes were made. Hans going to TP to the mid, maybe thinking he was going to recharge Limp's bottle for him, but Limp's full HP, full mana, and a full bottle. So unfortunately it's a little bit of a wasted movement there from Hanskin. We'll put down a ward though, so at least it's not completely wasted. But meanwhile, FNG's getting gone on top by saving DM. And one final whack comes out there from the Fishman and brings him down. So a few kills across the map there for VP so far. 3-1 lead. But even still, it's not like Nika Baby's really getting threatened that much. I mean, he's still nicely second on the CS chart. But exactly the same on the other side. Epileptic Kids. Sure, he's getting harassed out a little bit by S4, but he's doing very nicely on the CS chart himself. Holding his own. And S4 is actually abusing the fact that Ilias has left the lane. It just makes it a little bit more difficult for Epileptic Kid to try and farm up really easily. And the most annoying thing about the boss isn't the damage that they do, it's just the slow. Oh, it's so damn obnoxious to deal with. It's not even level 4 balls here either. So Limsco is level 7 at the moment. Just constantly trying to push in the mid lane. Maybe he wants to try and do a bit more damage to tier 1 before he starts making any rotations around the map with this Flaming Lasso. GPK's also got his 6. It's a little bit of XP behind Limp. Not a huge amount though. It is somewhat negligible. He's actually going to TP to the bot lane. The Chronosphere comes out for Epileptic Kid, holds S4 and Hanskin down. The boat comes out from GPK. Lock it down S4, but he's still so tanky. He's not quite going to drop yet. Hanskin even able to survive. He has got his Tether available. He's going to come back in, try and provide a little bit more assistance for S4. And even FNG is going to be there to try and lend a Soul Rip. So unfortunately, the rotation that came out from GPK, it doesn't actually net him a kill. Ilias still ends up dying. Despite the fact that that was the first Chronosphere used and the first boat. You don't find anything at all. Even the support kill. That definitely feels a little bit bad. Looks like VP using this space though, trying to make a move onto Nika Baby. He's able to get a strength morph off. So unfortunately there's nothing that DM and Safe could really do to pressure him out. Even Hanskin now. Just saying S4 doesn't really need my help anymore. I'm going to come up top. Help Nika Baby sustain up here a little bit and maybe try and apply a little bit of pressure onto the tier 1 as well. And down bot lane, 2k. Looks like it was getting gone on there by S4 and FNG. So they're both able to escape. Easy kill onto a tombstone though. A little bit of extra gold for GPK there. So at least they find something. But S4 not actually choosing to go back just yet. GPK will go back to bases to refuel with that X mark, so he's going to come back in here. Limp's hanging around himself with a double damage activated. So maybe Alliance want to make something happen, but no, they're already dispersing. the movement from Limp there even gets spotted by the ward. So VP going to use this as their time to go, realising the Batrider's already left. The boat immediately comes out there onto S4. He uses the Roar defensively, but it's not going to be enough to save him. He still ends up falling. So unfortunately, that Roar's going to be gone for a minute, even when he respawns. I mean, sure, it's not like he desperately needs that spell, but it's nice to use those, use it as much as you can in the early game to try and net some easy kills. Limp ends up running to save, but lucky the Wind Ranger got that Wind Run just to easily able to escape from the Batrider. So Limp's actually still yet to get involved with any kills. He is level 8. Still working towards those bot runes. Bot runes? Those bots. Boots of Travels. But I mean, because he's been flipping and flopping all around the map, he's actually dropped quite a lot on net worth chart. Down to the 5th place right now. He's TP back down to the bot lane. Maybe wants to try and set up for a kill onto the GPK. But yes, does the Frostbite onto FNG. So it looks like the Undying's going to fall instead. And once again, it's another complete wasted rotation that's coming up from Limp. He comes down to his bot lane, wants to help out, but he can't find anything at all. So now we actually see GPK with the level advantage over the top of Limp for the first time. And they've gone for a smoker play. Want to try and get a kill onto this Batrider. Out comes the Chronosphere with the Mask of Madness and a boat on top. There's nothing that Limp can do to survive this, and he blows up. So his game just gets delayed even more now. GPK sat himself right at the top of that net worth chart. Going to start becoming a real dominant force in this early portions of the game. If he manages to keep on snowballing like this and making effective rotations. And unfortunately for Alliance, it's not even like all this space created for Nico Baby. He's actually really netting him much because he's still just barely over the top of Epileptic Kid. Seems like FNG couldn't actually get the Denial to the tower there either. It is annoying sometimes when you're just a loaded little position 5 and you're trying to deny tower up against a catapult. You know, some people will flame you for it, but yeah, it's not the easiest thing in the world sometimes. Especially when you are just undying. It's not exactly like you have the biggest amount of right-click damage in the world, is it? Limp's blinking out DM up top. Maybe wants to try and set up for a grab here. He is going to wrap around the back, commits the Firefly, the relocate even coming out from Hanskin. Limpy dodges the first stun, so I think this is going to be a death onto DM. Even Nika Baby with the relocate comes in, and that's just going to be a free kill. So the Alliance finally getting a grab with this Batrider. I think it took a little bit longer than what they wanted. That's the first Flame and Lasso used at 12 minutes in. But even still, it's better late than never. It is definitely something. Sure, it's just a kill onto the Slardar, it's just the offlaner. But it's a little bit of extra gold for the Morphling. And because it was just a relocate for him as well, he's easily able just to go straight back to where he was farming up previously. So it's not like he even loses out on efficiency. Actually even bumps up a nice little gold separation between him and Epileptic Kid. So what build is S4 going? Is he going for the Necro? No, he's not bothering the Necro. Getting that medallion online. Is he just going to go for a straight up Soda Crest? And just wants to try and buff out the morph? Nika Baby, perhaps? So he's actually just got a Blink Dagger queued up, and he's going to have a pretty decent timing as well. Only 600 gold away now. It's not too bad. Epileptic Kid, he's got his Mask of Madness online. And he's going straight for that Manta style. So he's not bothering in trying to build any sort of farming mechanic in this game. Maybe realising that the Morphling isn't a hero which has any sort of super quick built-in farming abilities himself. So it's not like there's going to be a huge gold disparity between the two unless the Void does build something like a Battle Fury or a Midas. But with this Manta Star that will be coming out, he's going to be able to purge off the Napalm stacks. That's going to be coming out from Limp. And the Ball Slows from S4 as well. It's not a huge difference. The jump forward from DM. Tries to get the grab onto S4, but the Raw already came out onto Ilias. Trying to lock him down. Limp. He tried to jump in the backlines, but he got caught out by the stun. The boat lands on top of him, and he ends up falling. DM's just been focusing onto this Tombstone for ages. The Chronosphere gets dropped by Epileptic, trying to focus down onto S4. There's no save from the rest of Alliance. Nico Baby's a sap on the high ground, not being able to contribute anything at all. FNG gets hit by a couple of bashes. He gets brought down. Even Hanskin, when his relocate, brings it back into the fray. That's just another kill for the side of VP, clearing up 4 heroes on the side of Alliance and not dropping a single member. Even Ilias managing to survive that initiation. It's a nice play there by VP. Kept their cool, and then they just had the superior positioning, especially with that jump forward from DM, just making a little bit of space for the rest of VP in the backlines. Despite the fact that that Raw from S4 connected onto like 4 heroes. But I just don't think the rest of Alliance are really close by to try and capitalise on it that much. And the jump forward from Limp, I'm not sure what stun he got caught out by. I think it was either a Frostbite from Ilias or it was a Torrent. I think it was just a Frostbite, held him in place. But, I mean, this is Chronosphere gone. So, Alliance are going to try and use this as a moment to make something else happen, despite the fact that the Raw's actually up in 8 seconds. So they're going to try and make a play here and try and take down this tier 1 tower. The jump forward from DM gets the initial bash onto Nico Baby, trying to blow him up. It's not going to be enough. The heal's coming out from Hans, going to keep him alive. Nico Baby's just barely able to survive it. He waveforms back out, and they're going to try and re-engage here. DM's getting focused on by everyone. Nice crush, holds back 3 members of Alliance, but still not going to be enough. FNG ends up falling. The jump forward from Save, trying to get a grab onto S4, but there wasn't actually any Shackle. Then jump, nice X mark there, brings Hansky back into it. Jump forward from DM. And that's an easy kill there for GPK. Ends up getting a double kill. And now the side of Alliance just need to bail. That was another Raw usage. And again, they just lost 2 heroes, not finding any sort of pick off themselves. And that was even without a Chronosphere as well. I mean, sure, it was a double damage rune on Epileptic Kids. That definitely helped. But even still, that's real rough for the side of Alliance right now. They tried making 2 plays in a row. And both of them going a bit pear-shaped. Even Epileptic Kid just feels so confident with their lead, plus this ward that he's just going to move into the Dire Triangle as well and just farm up all of the big camps that Alliance would normally be able to get. Jeez, he's going to leave the big dragon. Maybe he doesn't feel too safe just yet, or maybe he sees all this big wave. So Alliance really need to find a grab off right now. I think it's heavily relying on Limp to try and find an opening and get a pick off. But, I mean, so far, all he's got is the bots. He doesn't really have a way to jump straight onto the back lines of VP. He has got the Blink Dagger queued up, but he's still 1,000 gold away. And as he's got a Morphling on his team who needs to get farm up himself, it's very hard for him to try and find any sort of farm that isn't just going to get him killed in the process. He's going to try and net up this creep wave in the mid. He needs to be careful though, because there's a few members of VP just denying up all their wards, controlling up the Dire jungle. So Limp's trying his best, soaking up as much farm as he possibly can, as quickly as he can as well. He's getting pretty close to that Blink Dagger. But I think Alliance know that they need the item on him. He's the only way that they can get clean pickoffs. It's quite difficult for S4 to try and initiate just by walking in and roaring. It gives plenty of time for VP to react. Even still, S4 was able to keep a nice bit of pressure going at this bot tier 2. Dealing quite a chunk of damage. They're down to about a core of its HP right now. And even the Tombstone there from FNG just wants to make enough space. But even still, VP, I don't think they really mind. They're just going to move into the Roshan pit themselves. And this drops pretty quickly with the Corrosive Haze on top. That's going to be an Aegis for Epileptic Kid. But, I mean, at least this is a tier 2 tower for Alliance. They're going to be able to take away the outpost before the 20-minute mark. I think VP is going to try and do exactly the same thing themselves. Going to try and take away this tier 2 at the top lane. And close out that XP gap that would be made from the outpost on their side being taken away from them. This will be brought down pretty quickly. So maybe perhaps VP might try and make a move quickly down towards their own outpost, try and snatch it away, but I don't think they'll be able to get there. Even if they go full throttle, TP to the tier 1 and just dive for it. It's only 20 seconds. So they will just have to let that go. Limp, though, needs to be careful. There's still a few members from VP hanging around here. Oh, he's still in range of this ward. DM, he's going to jump forwards, gets the stun connection onto Limp. And this is going to be the follow-up kill. The Shackle didn't actually connect to a tree there from save, but not like it really mattered. And that's a free kill there onto the Batrider. Meanwhile, Epileptic Kid's also pushing in the mid lane himself. But, I mean, I guess Alliance weren't too bothered. S4 was still pushing onto that tier 3. Not really done that much damage to it, though. And they will actually all fall back now. Meanwhile, the rest of VP is still sieging up this tier 2. So Epileptic Kid got that Skadi queued up as his next item. Definitely a nice time whenever you're going up against an IO, reducing the effectiveness of the heals that come out from the IO. Plus this is the generic lifesteal that the Morphling has with the Morbid Mask as well. It's a very effective item, whilst also making yourself pretty damn tanky in the process. But Nico Baby, he's still trying to build that shotgun. I mean, there's not really a huge amount of decent targets for this. I mean, you might be able to instantly blow up the Crystal Maiden. Maybe Wind Ranger. No, I think 1400 HP. No, I think the Wind Ranger will probably be able to survive. Would definitely be forced to fall back though. But maybe also just wants to try and just chuck it at the cores of VP instead, to make a little bit of confusion and maybe save some of his teammates' life. Especially whoever does get caught up by the Chronosphere as well, able to chuck that onto them. The 3 members from VP tried going for a smoke up and heading into the jungle, but they don't find anything. Meanwhile, Alliance have done exactly the same thing. And looks like Epileptic Kid is going to run straight into FNG here. Is this going to be a free kill onto the Undying? There's nothing that FNG can do to survive that. Save, gets a jump forward. He actually gets a Shackle connection there onto Limp as well, trying to hold him in place. The heals that come out from Handskin with the relocate. I think, yeah, this is going to be a dead IO. Unless he can be super quick fingers, but I don't think it's going to matter. DM's just going to instantly crush down. Ooh, Epileptic, he tried going for a jump onto the high ground there and getting a Chronosphere perhaps. But super quick read there by Limp. Blinks back immediately. Definitely keeps him alive. So GPK with the BKB ready and waiting to use up. And the Spirit Vessel as well. Just got the Shivas queued up as his next item. So this is a pretty farmed Kunkka. Top of the net worth chart at the moment. But the game sort of fall into a little bit of a lull. I was expecting VP to try and play a little bit more aggressively, seeing as how they have this Aegis advantage. But it's down to about 50 seconds left in its duration. So they might not actually get that much use out of it. They might try and go for a desperate push now. Well, I say desperate, but you know, just maybe want to try and use out this Aegis. But I suppose instead it's just sort of been used as a deterrent against the side of Alliance. Just they can't really make any moves against VP right now because of that Aegis. So that keeps him back in that respect. Epileptic Kid is heading down to the bot. Maybe thinking about trying to get a grab onto Nico Baby. But it's always difficult for a Faceless Void to try and get the grab onto the Morph. There's always plenty of time for the Morphling to be able to get the strength shift off in time before the Chronosphere comes out. So it's never a kill that a Faceless Void can really get solo. And there has been that Aegis Reclaim now as well. And I think Alliance know this. They've gone for a smoke out play with 3 of them. Can try and wrap around the jungle here. Maybe use Nika Baby as bait. We'll see who they end up running into as their first target. But I don't think they're going to find anything. The rest of VP have already bailed out. They've gone for a smoke up now of their own. But they're going to actually start wrapping around to the jungle. They're going to run straight into S4 right now to actually get the double sun connection there onto S4 and FNG. The Undying's getting pretty low. That's just a solo kill from DM. No help required there from the rest of VP. Now S4 getting targeted up. He gets brought down. Oh, the relocate. He ends up not nailing onto anything. The X mark that came up there from GPK pulled back the Beastmaster just out of range of the Tether. The Torrent a little bit off the mark there, so Hanskin will not get stunned that way, but instead he's going to get bashed up. Ooh, he gets the Tether off onto the Hawk, but still not enough. Ilias gets the final hit there with the blast. 3 kills for the side of EP. Not even having to commit any of their big spells either. Just the amount of damage that DM's able to do himself. He just absolutely melted that Undying in the second.
This did not just happen.
So Alliance, they felt like they could have maybe tried to make a move there, seeing as how the Aegis was gone, but doesn't feel like it. So maybe they want to try and get grabbed now. Let's get jump forward from Limp. He gets the lasso. Just try and burst him down with the Roar on top, as well as the shotgun that came out from Nika Baby. He actually brings the Void down. Everyone on the side of the VP needs to get the hell out of there. The X. What? Oh, was that an X from Nika Baby because he turned into the Kunkka? Oh, I was very confused there. Well, nice little play there by Alliance. Net very 2 tasty kills onto the Void and the Slardar. Definitely what they're after. Finally, they get a little bit of breathing space and are able to actually start roaming around the map a little bit and soak up as much farm as they possibly can before these 2 heroes come back alive. I mean, now we see Nika Baby at the top of the net worth chart. 1,500 gold over the Void right now. And working towards the Butterfly as his next item. Oh, he would relocate now coming up from Nika Baby and Hanskin. Just want to try and force down this tier 1 tower. Damn, that Morphlin's a machine gun with that overcharge on him. Yeah, I mean, that X mark really confused me. I thought it was a misclick there by GPK or something, cancelling out the TP, but obviously it was just the stolen one from Nika Baby. So if Alliance are able to do that a couple more times, then they might actually bring themselves back into this game and become a real dominant force. I mean, they have cut it down to a 10k gold lead. I mean, it's just a very slight dip in the charts there. Not really a huge amount that you can boast over, but it's something. It's something going in their favor for the first time in a very long time. But even still, I think the game plan from VP, they're just going to wait for this next Roshan. Still 2 minutes 20 away. Very long respawn timer. Alliance are going out for another smoke once again. Going to roam straight into the triangle. Looks like they might run into DM here. The jump forward from Limp gets the Flaming Lasso collection onto the Slardar. We have the Flesh Golem as well. They want to try and burst him. There's just so little damage coming out. DM's able to get the puddle off. Even the Roar on him, but he doesn't care. He's just standing his ground. No, not enough damage on the side of Alliance at all. Well, not between these 3 heroes anyway. They needed the Morphling. He's their only sort of source of damage, but I think the relocate was still on cooldown there from Hanskin. Oh no, they relocate bottom. Where did they relocate? What? I'm confused about what that relocate. I think there might have been a little bit of miscommunication there from the side of Alliance. The Hanskin was like, we're going to go bot and cut the creep wave and try and push in this tier 3 a little bit. Ooh. Save nearly scouts out Nika Baby there. Just got to get the connection onto... Oh! Nika Baby goes for the TP out right in front of Save's face. And that's going to leave a little bit of time for the rest of VP to try and rotate around it. Even commit the Chronosphere and the bow. Nika Baby will end up falling. Save even gets the last hit as well. Just a little bit of an insult there. There, you tried killing me. I got you. You've been bested. So unfortunately, it just feels like everything's falling apart at the seams for Alliance right now. the draft just hasn't really worked out the way they wanted. I think they were desperately after Limp getting a super nice early start and making a few key rotations around the map. And it's not like his lane even went badly. He did really well in the lane. He was actually at the top of that CS chart and net worth chart for quite a while. But all of his rotations just couldn't find anything. And meanwhile, even though GPK had a little bit of a rougher time, the rotations he made was key. He actually netted a few kills for his team, making space for the Faceless Void. And so we really need to say, really, it's just the space that he was able to make really made up for the fact that he had a few shortcomings in the laning phase. But you know, that's a key feature of being a good mid player, because even if you have a rough time, you can still be very useful for the rest of your team and really capitalizing on your level boost over the other lanes. And VP can move straight into the Roshan pit. Now FNG comes over with the Tombstone activated. They can try and make a bit of space. Even the Flame Elastic that comes out from them, try and lock down Epileptic. There's just not enough damage at all. He's still just going to carry on hitting onto this Roshan. Meanwhile, DM's just whacking into Hanskin in the background. It looks like the IO will fall. Even the FNG end up dropping. Who's going to be able to get the Aegis? It is actually GPK who wins the Clicking War. And now Nika Baby and Limp, they both get hit by the turret. They drop at the same time. Absolute humiliation there for the side of Alliance. They tried making something happen, but didn't find anything whatsoever. Losing the Clicking War as well to try and snatch that Aegis. It all just went real bad for him. And now VP just going to roll straight down this mid lane. No buyback on Nika Baby or Limp. This is going to be a free lane of racks in the mid. Possibly the top lane as well. It depends how far VP want to push their luck right now. The glyph that comes out, it doesn't even kill the creep wave because everyone doesn't even care about tanking the tower. It does such little damage to all of them. So the tier 3 falls, they're working onto the melee barracks. Limp's actually up in 8 seconds. Nika Baby will be short to follow as well. It does look like VP want to push their luck even further. They're all fall back. Just going to leave the range barracks, left alive. As I suppose there was still a raw available for S4, so there's that potential for them to get caught out. But even still, just every single time that Alliance, they find something good. It just feels like, you know, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And unfortunately, every single little small dip, it just gets completely countered by another massive spike. Little dip, bump. And it's just been going that way for basically the entirety of this game right now. And I'm just not sure what Alliance can really do. It looks like Limp might try and go for a grab here, wants to save with the top lane. But there's still a few members from VP sat in the back lines. They're going to go commit the Flame and Lasso. Dragon save back into FNG's hands. But there's still not really enough damage from the rest of VP here. The Relocate comes out. But S4 ends up getting caught in the background. Now Save's getting focused up. But it's even still Epileptic. No, Nika Baby, he gets caught out by Epileptic with the Chronosphere. Kills him up. Clears up the IO as well. 4 deaths on the side of Alliance. And all they managed to get is the kill onto the Wind Ranger. And they just call it. They realise how screwed they are this game, and they don't want to play it anymore. It's just too damn depressing. Very excited save there, putting the 2 exclamation marks on his GG. He's happy. Or maybe it's sort of like a, heh, you killed me, but you got killed. But even still, well played there by VP. Very, very dominant victory there for them in that game. Alliance only managing to net 6 kills. That's got to feel bad. That's got to feel real bad. And unfortunately, Alliance now, they're really up against the wall in terms of trying to keep themselves in this tournament. They have to win the next 2 games, otherwise they are guaranteed to be relegated down to the Division 2. But, you know, I mean, it's not the end of the world because you'll be in the playoffs of the Division 2, but obviously you always want to be in that the top division, trying to prove that you are one of the more dominant teams in the world. So we'll see if they're able to try and take the second game and push it to a game 3 and really show that they have still got what it takes to keep themselves in this division. Or if VP are just going to absolutely crush them like they did in that game. But even still, we'll have to wait and see. And hopefully it's a little bit more of an even matchup. But even still, it's going to be enjoyable to watch no matter what. So if you guys have enjoyed this game, hopefully you guys also stick around for Game 2 of Virtus.pro versus Alliance. thanks for watching that video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it and the content I was able to provide. I am just starting out, so if you did like it and you want to support me in the future, then please think about following and subscribing to me on Twitch, Twitter and YouTube. I post on Twitter what events I plan on covering in the future and when I'm actually able to do some casts. I don't have the most free time in the world, unfortunately, so I can't provide constant content, but I can guarantee you every single time that I do cast, I'm giving it my all because I have a lot of passion for it, and hopefully that does come off. So once again, hopefully you guys enjoyed it and you stick around for the next video. So hopefully I see you guys there. Cheers.